I'm Marcy.
And I'm Greg.
And we have Deep Roots Farm here in Moscow. We're an urban farm. We grow all of our food and sell it all within about a 3-mile radius of this spot.
Welcome to Deep Roots Farm. No artificial ingredients included.
This is where everything gets seeded and started early in the year.
Every farm starts with the earth itself, and Deep Roots has developed a homemade recipe for their potting soil.
It's seeded in a potting soil that we mix up ourselves, and it's kind of a mixture of coconut coir fiber and peat and compost and other nutrients that the plants need. The whole idea is just we're feeding the soil that feeds the plants rather than feeding the plants directly, which is kind of a stance that conventional ag takes.
The seeds get germinated and kept on heating mats. Usually takes about 10 to 14 days on average, and they're watered consistently 2 to 3 times a day. And they get rotated from individual cells such as these and potted up eventually into 4-packs, and from 4-packs into 4-inch pots.
And then if you pop just outside of here, you can see cold frames that are along the edge of the hoop house, and we move stuff out there to harden it off and get it ready for traveling outdoors.
Here you have cold frames, and these offer you a unique advantage to the plastic, because with this glass they're able to retain more of the temperature at night, plus they're getting temperature from the soil being directly on the ground. And so actually these have usually any lower setting, anything where the grass is lower, it maintains a better temperature. So cold frames are very ideal for small scale or at-home gardening.
Instead of the standard greenhouses most of us are used to seeing, Deep Roots uses what are called hoop houses. The significance of these structures is that they are movable to allow for crop rotation.
One of the reasons that we can grow year-round, it's really diversified and expanded our season and allowed us to put certain crops in that we wouldn't otherwise. Crop rotation is something that is really beneficial. From a nutrient standpoint, you're not always taking the same nutrients out. Tomatoes pull the same nutrients, and so if you do tomatoes year after year, you deplete certain nutrients. And so by changing that up, you're always utilizing a different set of nutrients from year to year. You start some stuff in it early in the year, and then you can move it off of them as the season progresses, and then plant warm crops in a different area and then move it off. So that helps with you utilizing it in multiple spaces, but also then to reduce on salt buildup and pest pressure that generally goes along with covered space like this. It's a pretty big part of organics and what we believe in.
One important aspect of Deep Roots organic farming is integration.
And this is kind of the example of the intercrop thing. We'll be planting tomatoes here in the middle of this bed that will grow up, and by the end of the season they'll be touching this plastic, and we'll.
Even though the farm primarily sells garden crops, other life forms play a role as well.
In any complete sustainable system, you want to ideally incorporate animal manures into that. And one really beneficial animal for that is chickens, because they feed off of anything that's there, basic garden scraps, compost, as well as turning over rapid release high nitrogen manure.
One of the things that we're trying to do is incorporate animals into the mix and in our diversified system. And then we also get the eggs, and that's a pretty great combo for us to add. Just allows us to do more than veggies.
Perhaps the most important creature in any farm also happens to be one of the smallest.
Our honeybees are the real workers, and these are Italian honeybees. They pollinate all of our crops, from apples to, anything with any angiosperm they're pollinating.
The bees also get a little help from a crucial plant that many of us overlook.
Dandelions are one of the best forages for honeybees, so even though they are a weed and they do compete when a crop is in the ground, as far as not having a cropping system, they're a really beneficial plant to have around. The bees love them and it gives them a diverse food source.
For Greg and Marcy, Deep Roots Farm isn't just a business, it's a way of life.
And it just comes back to, feeding good food to people. People want to have that connection with their food and where it's grown, how it's grown.
If they can appreciate and know what we do on some level, I think that they have a greater appreciation for the food that they eat.
To me, organic farming means freedom. Freedom to feed my friends, my family, my community, to serve. Not only that, but feeding the soil. When you have a healthy soil, your plants will be healthy, and in turn, the produce that grows out of that soil will be healthy. So feed the earth and it will feed you.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.